All right, ladies and gentlemen, I'm your host, Chris Crenshaw, and we are live from the 704 once again for episode 216 of the 815 Exchange. And well, we got a busy week. We have a busy week. Of course, the NFL is going on as we are doing this. Of course, I film on Sundays now because of, work. But, as you know, we got a lot of stuff going on. It's been a good week for some of y'all. For some of y'all, no. And I'm not gonna lie. I'm one of those people where it hasn't been. I mean, honestly, life has been great. I'm not gonna lie, life has been great. I'm up right now, but my teams are not up right now. So yeah, we're gonna talk about that. WNBA playoffs are also going on right now, so we'll be talking about that in the roundup. Daniel Dubois and Anthony Joshua, we'll be talking about that in the roundup as well. But of course, we got that full slate of college football this week. We got NFL Week 3. And we've got the return of the Champions League as well. So full slate as always. Remember to like, share, and subscribe if you guys are enjoying the content. And as always, everything you look for in this life, everything you're looking for in this life can be found in my description. So timestamps are also embedded in the video, but also my social media links if you want to follow my daily life, even though I don't post daily. Yeah, you can follow me there. And if you want to see the clips on TikTok, then you can go there too. That's also in the outro. But yes, without further ado, y'all know what it is, man. Let's get to business. Okay, let's get to business. Oh, I have something to add to the roundup, but we'll talk about that then. College football. Yes, CFB. Let's start on, what was it? Was it Saturday, Friday? I think it was Friday. Nebraska and Illinois. Now, of course, Nebraska has been riding the wave of the young phenom Dylan Raiola. And now, I'm not going to lie to you. Dill still had 297, 3 touchdowns. He did have a pick in this game. But still, almost 300 yards, 3 touchdowns, hat trick. Him and Nair were going crazy. All right, Nair ended up with 4 receptions, 90 yards, and 2 touchdowns. All right, they had it dialed in. But he still showed that, he was a young quarterback. He still showed those signs of, here's where he needs to go in terms of decision making, getting the ball out. Though I can't blame what happened in double overtime, by the way. Illinois gets to win 31-24. But I can't blame what happened to him. I can't blame it. I can't blame that. I was on the O-line. It was terrible. I don't know how you end up with a 3rd and almost 50. Or excuse me, a 4th and 50. That's not an exaggeration, ladies and gentlemen. It was 4th and, I think, 48. Someone can quote me and go check that. I think it was 4th and 48, which is asinine. 4th and half the fucking field? Come on now. So yeah, can't put that all on Dylan, but yeah, Nebraska just completely collapsed in this game. Luke Altmaier had a great game though, 215 and 4 touchdowns. He led the way for Illinois and got it done. And yeah, that was a ranked matchup, by the way. Big time ranked matchup. Of course, Nebraska rolling in with a lot of hype fresh off of the beatdown of Colorado. But, and we're going to be talking about what happened with Colorado this week, of course, towards the end of this segment. But Illinois does get the win, like I said, 31-24. Good ranked win in that Big Ten. Speaking of the Big Ten, USC, 5-1. Of course, we made our Big Ten debut on 3:30 and the Big House. And well, yeah, we lost, okay? Yeah. Y'all gassed us up, and this is why I was hesitant. And last week, why I was hesitant, I was like, listen, it sounds good, winning games, we're winning well, we look pretty good, but it's still a different beast going into the Big House. And Michigan is not. Okay, the Michigan offense they're Iowa. Okay, they're Iowa on steroids in a way. The offense is fucking terrible. I'm not going to sit here and lie to you. At least the passing game is disgusting. All right, it's 1900s football, but the defense still has a bunch of future NFL players on it. All right, Mason Graham showed why he is Mason Graham in this game. Kenneth Grant showed why he's Kenneth Grant in this game, and Lord knows Mr. Will Johnson showed why he is going to be a top 10 pick minimum in this year's draft. He had a pick 6 on Miller the Killer, but still, USC had an opportunity to win this game. I don't know, and listen, a lot of people hate Lincoln. I don't really get it. I somewhat get why Oklahoma might hate him. I don't get why everybody else hates Lincoln Riley. But he's somewhat lost. This game is on him. All right? This game is on him to an extent. And honestly, I still have hope coming out of this game, which probably sounds crazy. You lost to Michigan. Y'all collapsed. Y'all could have won. But I still have hope because y'all don't know what it was like. Y'all don't know what it was like having Caleb fucking Williams and feeling hopeless last year. We could, knowing that no matter if it was a ranked opponent, we're getting crushed. Or it's going to be a shootout and we're not going to be able to pull it off. This disgusting sicko game gave me a better feeling after it than my quarterback dropping 50 on somebody's head with 60 top 10 plays and us losing. The defense is real. The defense is here. The defense is here. Now, two missed tackles on Kalel Mullings, who won the game. All right, single-handedly. 159 and 2 touchdowns for him in this game, including the game winner. He single-handedly won this game. Pretty much off of the big play. All right, we got beat off of the big play, that big run to set them up. And I mean, once they got in the red zone, you knew how that was going to go. But for the most part, that USC defense is fixed. It is fixed, and I think with the talent you continue to recruit, it's getting better. And I still think the USC is headed in a much better direction than it was pre-Lincoln. So I'm not up in arms. Elijah Page is just not a very good football player. We need to fix that old line because Miller is getting killed. Okay, even though he still went 283, 3 touchdowns and a pick because he's a dog. Miller was getting killed, and we don't have crazy quarterback depth. I don't really want to see Jaden Maivia play this year. And Juju doesn't come till next year. And I don't know if he's going to be ready immediately. So, yeah, I'd rather not burn through our quarterback depth chart because we have Colorado's offensive line. So, need to fix that. Now, then again, of course, we were playing who I mentioned before, especially in the interior with Graham and Grant. But, with that said, disappointing because we could have won. We could have gotten that would have been huge, right, for USC. But I think that would have gassed us up a little bit too much. It's a nice humbling experience. It's not a bad loss. Michigan, while not last year's Michigan, still a very good team with an elite defense. So and we lost in the big house. It's not the end of the world. So yeah, USC had some opportunities, but yeah, still disappointing. I mean, Orgy had 37 pass yards. It's crazy, bro. It's crazy. 1900s football. Clemson is still angry, okay? I don't know what happened in that between that Georgia game and App, but Dabo must have threatened to take some NIL money because Clemson has been acting different. Has been acting different since then. 59 and 36 is generous because it was 52-7 before Clemson just basically said, all right, we good. We're done. Our job is done here. All right. Cade Klubnik has remembered that he's a 5-star. I don't know when this happened, like I said, but sometime between that Georgia ass whooping and the Appalachian State massacre last week, he figured out, oh, wait, I'm Cade Klubnik, Westlake legend. Let me let my nuts hang. And he's been on timing ever since. All right. 279 and 4 touchdowns for Cade. He was dominant. TJ Parker was giving CJ Bailey. Chaminade played with Jeremiah Smith, by the way. He was giving him hell. He had 2 sacks in this game. CJ had some moments. Had some moments where it was like, okay. But he also threw a pick 6 in this game, and Hampton had 2 picks. Or had 1 pick, and he had a pick 6. But yeah. Saw some good things from Bailey, but he also looked like a freshman playing, Clemson. So, yeah, I don't know what is up with Clemson right now, but they are acting like they're Clemson again. So we'll see if it can continue or if State is really just that bad. Now, Utah and Oklahoma State was the other ranked matchup this week. Of course, we talked about Utah last week. Isaac Wilson, could he keep it up? Wasn't really Isaac this week. It was Micah Bernard, though. He had 182 yards, didn't get in the box, but, I mean, the way he ran the ball. All right, the way he ran the ball this week was masterful for Utah and really kind of charging this team. This was a very close game. Oklahoma State had a chance to win this at the end, but just couldn't come through. And I think the issue with OSU this year is that they can't get Ollie going. They just can't. They cannot get Ollie Gordon going because nobody fears Alan Bowman. Which really shouldn't be a surprise. This is his 10th year of college football. He's 36 years old. He has a family, a mortgage. He has grandchildren on the way. Nobody fears him, obviously. If he isn't in the league at this age, obviously there's something wrong. All right? Nobody fears him. Nobody fears. Brendan Price is a great receiver, but nobody fears Oklahoma State's passing game. So we can load up the box. We're going to take Ollie out, and Bowman is not going to beat us, right? So if we take Ollie out of the equation, we good. We good. We have nothing to worry about. We just got to play our game, take advantage of opportunities, and we're going to walk away with a W. That is how people are playing Oklahoma State right now. So they got to figure something out, or Bowman's got to step up because, yeah, Ollie has just not had a great year because, again, teams just don't fear the passing attack of Oklahoma State, which sounds crazy considering how Oklahoma State used to move. Mizzou. survived. Survived. It took 2 overtimes, and Craig missed 3 field goals, but he made the one when it mattered. And Mizzou survives Vandy the 30-27. I mean, it was wow. All right, Mizzou was on fraud watch. All right, now Cook and Luther did their things. All right, Luther Burden had 2, both from Brady Cook, obviously. Nate Noel had almost 200 yards, 199. But Paiavia had 262 and 2 touchdowns, and Vandy was giving Mizzou all types of issues. And like I said, gave them a hell of a scare. So credit where credit's due. But Vandy couldn't get it done. Mizzou survives. It could always be worse. Like I said, a lot of people talking about USC and Lincoln Riley. It could always be worse. We could be Oklahoma. I don't mean that disrespectfully. I just mean objectively, we could be Oklahoma right now. Not that Brent Venables is doing a great job. He's actually fixed that defense, like, of course, the former best defensive coordinator in college football could. But there's one thing. That offense is it's not necessarily Michigan bad, but it's pretty bad. And the problem is that the 5-star savior that he was hyped to be is not what Jackson Arnold is. Yeah, he got benched in this game. He got benched for a much better quarterback, by the way, apparently. But J.A. gets benched in this game. It was the battle of Jackson Arnold and Nico, right? That was supposed to be a matchup, Jackson versus Nico. And Nico had his moments, all right? He didn't play a perfect game by any means, but of course, he looked like, the best quarterback, like an elite 5-star quarterback from that supposedly special class where we're already at 2 strikeouts in Jackson Arnold and Malachi Nelson, which, of course, Malachi was because his shoulder fell off before he even played a game. J.A. just looks like a bust. All right, at the current moment, he looks like a bust. Maybe he can get it together, but I don't know if he's going to get his job back. But yeah, Nico wins the matchup. Tennessee, however, is just the defense. Okay, that defense is real. We're going to talk more about that as they go on and play tougher teams. But yeah, they gave a hell of an introduction. That defense gave Oklahoma a hell of an introduction to SEC ball. So yeah, we'll see what happens there. But Tennessee staying dangerous. BYU and K-State. All right, BYU gets it done 38-9. They pull off the upset. Avery Johnson, we talked about how volatile he was last week, right? He was brilliant, but he also had those times where it was like, oh my gosh, what is he doing? Yeah, he just lost his mind in this game, apparently. 2 interceptions. It was ugly. All right. On the other hand, Retzlaff had 2 touchdowns at 149, which, of course, is not a crazy stat line, but it's much better than whatever Avery Johnson did yesterday. It was bad. It was bad. All right. Go watch it for yourself. Don't take my word for it. Don't even take the picture for it. Might even be AJ. But AJ was not very good yesterday. All right. I think anybody would tell you that. But, of course, I don't think that's necessarily the end of the world. But like I said, not great. Bad quarterback play. Death of K-State, even with all of their weapons. Not the end of the world, though. Of course, 1 loss is not the end of the world, especially in this year's new era of college football. So we'll see, but BYU gets a big upset there. Was not the biggest upset of the week. No. You ever get beat so bad that your head coach asks the players whether he should resign? And I promise you this isn't a basketball score, even though it'd be an upset over there, too. James Madison puts 70 in Chapel Hill, by the way. They put 70 on UNC's head top. High school football in North Carolina is doing great, by the way. But collegiately and professionally, oh dear God, even though the Panthers are winning right now as we speak. But JMU beat the brakes off these boys. I'm not going to lie to you. 70-50 makes this look a little bit closer than it was, even though Carolina started to come back a little bit in that second half. But they put 70 on their head. And I'm going to shout out the boy from the 3-3-6. All right, that's not me. But the quarterback for James Madison, Grimsley grad, Alonzo Barnett. He had 487 and 7 touchdowns. Now, JMU played Charlotte, all right? And they only put 30 on us. They put 40 extra on Carolina, bro. Alonzo had 7 TDs. 7. Not 1, not 2, not 3, not 4, not 5, not 6, but 7. 7. Dollison, 3 receptions, 125 and a touchdown. Cam Ross, 7 receptions, 107 and a touchdown. 5 different players had a receiving touchdown. for JMU. Alonzo had 2 on the ground, so that's how you get to the 7. Spence had 2 picks. One of them was a pick 6. Now Marion Hampton had 139 and 3 touchdowns. Obviously, Carolina dropped 50. But yeah, Jacoby Criswell had highs, and boy did he have lows. But Carolina's defense got shredded into little bitty pieces of paper by James Madison, who, again, maybe put some respect on their name. All right, JMU. I didn't see the top 25 this week, but they might be very close to being ranked if they're not ranked, or at least getting votes. But 70 in your crib to JMU, kind of crazy. But shout out to the Dukes. Colorado and Baylor, baby. Colorado and Baylor. Colorado escapes in overtime with a 38 to... You know what? They didn't escape. They won this game. I'm going to say it. They won this game. After all of the slander even I gave them, but especially from some of y'all, especially about Shadur, about Coach Prime, they won this game. Straight up. They won this game. It was not perfect. That offensive line still had Shadur fighting for his life, but the man had 341 and 2 touchdowns. Stop acting like he's not a guy. He's a guy. He's one of them. He's one of them. He's not the best quarterback in the country, don't get me wrong. But we talking top 10, I think you got to mention Shadur. Sure, he has his moments, he has his imperfections, but this is not a crazy quarterback class like last year anyway. But Shadur, one of them ones, all right? However, he is not the best player on this team. That is because they might have the best college football player on God's green earth. Travis Hunter is one of one, all right? And while we're going to talk about Ohtani in the Roundup and what he did this week, we got to talk about Trav. Yeah, we got to talk about Trav. 7 receptions, 130. Oh, by the way, he tackles. And he also had the game-winning forced fumble on the goal line. Iconic. All right? Iconic moment from Trav. He is that guy. He is that guy. Cornerback 1, depending on how you feel about Will Johnson. I will hear that argument. But also arguably wide receiver 1, which is not something I expected when he was coming out of high school. I thought he was a good receiver, but I didn't think we were going to be legitimately talking about, this guy might be, in talks for wide receiver 1. He has the best ball skills, I think, in college football. And I think the best ball skills we've seen. He's incredible. All right, he's incredible. Do I think he's going to be able to defy the odds and play 2 ways? I don't know. I think it could be a situational thing. That's where I foresee. But, I'm just enjoying what we're seeing because it's very, very rare you see a player like Travis Hunter. And we haven't for a very, very long time. And I don't think we will. Even though he could set a little bit of a wave, but I still don't think, there's going to be many Travis Hunters walking around. One of one, absolutely incredible game from him. Yet again. All right, yet again. Masterful performance. And like I said, won the game for Colorado at the end. Put some respect on their name. All right, put some respect on their name. Now, to round this segment up, Drew Alar has officially been completely moved off of Fraud Watch and now is on Is This Man Him Watch, okay? However, Penn State really hasn't played anybody. So we will see, but Alar has looked like, the number 1 quarterback in the country coming out of high school. He was once. Speaking of another guy that was the number 1, quarterback coming out of high school, depending on how you feel about Nico and Malachi, I guess they were all, and even Jackson, I think, got ranked number 1 at one point in time. But like I said, Malachi looks like he struck out. We'll see how he, when he eventually plays, if he ever plays. Nico's a hit. J.A. is a bust. What about Arch? Well, he made his first start this week in filling in for Quinn, and you know what? It was okay. He was okay, but the talent is definitely there, so I'm gonna count it. All right, I'm gonna count it. Arch was up and down, but you still see why he's not just a name. All right, Arch, very talented. Once he cleans that stuff up, he's going to be very, very dangerous, and you can see why many people in Texas are very excited for him. And lastly, Buffalo upset NIU. So all that momentum is gone because Buffalo took him out. So yeah, that was that, and that was the week in CFB. All right, now for the champion. Oh my gosh, it just looks good to see me even go with the graphic. Shout out to editor Chris. Champions League is back. In a new format. Yeah, we have it on Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, which just feels unholy. All right, it feels unholy, and I don't know how I feel about it. The players don't really like it. Not that they don't like playing the Champions League, but just the amount of matches they have to play this year, it's kind of excessive and can't be healthy. But Champions League is back, like I said. All right, so let's talk about the reigning defending champions, who of course got the best player in the world. They start off their chance for the repeat with a 3-1 win. So Real Madrid doing what they do, took out Stuttgart. Mbappe got that goal. So he continues to score. He hasn't had that like moment of matchup, but he's scoring. All right, but he is scoring. Endrick, however, had one of the moments. All right, who, by the way, actually we talked about him getting groomed last week, so I won't bring that up. But Endrick just decided that he was him. It was just like, you know what? I'm Endrick. So what? It's the counterattack. I got Vinny right here. I got Mbappe right here. I'm not going Kai. I'm not going VJ. It's me from 25 yards out. And honestly, it probably should have been saved. But you know what? The audacity to even take that, maybe he really is special. All right, maybe he really is a special one. He just got ranked the number one Wonder Kid, by the way. But yeah, Endrick gets his first Champions League goal. So he scored on all three of his debuts, which is kind of crazy. But yeah, shout out to Endrick cooking up. Liverpool took care of Milan, even though Pulisic scored 3 minutes in. Liverpool's defenders drew them back into this game. Konate, then VVD, and then Sawz gets it done. So yeah, Liverpool, new manager, of course, no more Klopp, but they're still rolling. And of course, they get a big win and a very big tie versus Milan. We will see. I think Milan will be okay. Bayern said this is why we should not have 50 billion teams in the Champions League. They faced Dynamo Zagreb and Boy Boy. Now listen, Zagreb made it 3-2 in the 50th minute, and we were like, okay. And then Byron said, you know that meme of like when they like lock in and they like lean forward? That's what happened. Yeah, they put 7 on them. 6 unanswered goals. Following that in the 50th minute, 6. They won 9-2. Kane had 4 goals. Olise had a brace. I think 5 different players scored or whatever it was. Something crazy. Madness. All right? Absolute madness. Bayern beat the breaks off these boys. All right, my goodness. BL4, of course, the reigning defending Europa League champs. How would they do? Of course, they took on Feyenoord and they took care of business 4-0. Wirtz got the brace. Grimaldo got a goal as well. And then on the weekend today, won in Leverkusen fashion, which is, 90th minute stoppage time. So, credit to credit where credit is due. They kept the team together. Chabi's still there. And they still got the sauce. All right, we will see if BL4 can make a run here, but they're off to a hell of a start. All right, off to a hell of a start. And then the big upset this week actually was Monaco taking out Barca. Yes. However, Monaco just has like I don't know, like an addiction to like every couple years they just go on these like crazy Champions League run, and there's some youngster that's defined the arts. Last time it was Mbappe. We don't know who it's going to be yet. Of course, Barca has the definitive wonder kid currently in world football, in Mo, who scored in this game. However, it wasn't enough because Ikehina scored in the 71st, and that was enough. Also, Eric Garcia going off with a red card in the 10th minute because Ter Stegen lost his mind. Probably hurt Barca's chances. It's not the end of the world, but yeah, a tough blow. Monaco, very, very good win against the Barca team who had been scorching hot, and I think remained scorching hot on the weekend. So yeah, Barca still hot, but took a little bump in the road to Monaco in, match day 1 of the UCL, which I think will be back this week, which they kind of have no choice because there's 50 billion matchups. Let's talk about entertainment. Industry got renewed. Love that. But we're going to talk about the other HBO show that's going to take over after Industry season finale. It's going to take over as the 9 o'clock show. Of course, I'm talking about, we're back in the world of the Batman, but we're talking about the Penguin, and it was so good. It was so good, man. It was so good. Colin Farrell, you gonna win something for this. You gonna win something for this role. He was great as Oz. I guess he's Oswald Cobb. I think in this, they're taking away the Cobblepot, which, I kind of get. But, I could have kept his name. But he was great. This was a really, really good pilot episode. Very, very good pilot episode. A lot of people calling it, an all-timer. I'll let y'all debate about that. But, yeah, a very good pilot episode, setting the scene of him kind of setting up the Maronis and Falconis in this post, not necessarily apocalyptic Gotham, but, with all the flooding and the crime on the rise, that reset that happened at the end of the Batman, kind of setting that up. Also, funny enough that Carmine Falcone did not have a single sane kid, I've realized. Not a single one. Alberto, who, spoiler alert, gets blown to bits in a great opening scene, by the way. And his body joins us on the ride while Oz meets Vic and co. He was, of course, had every addiction on the man. Sophia, who's played by Kristen Milotti, who is fantastic as her. She's going to be great in this, by the way. But Sophia is a mad woman, as she is in the comics. is a literal psychopath. And then, of course, Selena, Kyle, is Catwoman, which is kind of self-explanatory. She might be the most normal of the kids, which is saying something. So yeah, I don't know what is up with Carmine's DNA, but yeah, it was on some it was on something. But yeah, Penguin, Real Cinema, we'll be talking about it as we go. Music, it was a big week, baby. It was a big week. One of my most anticipated albums of the year dropped. Lil Tecca dropped Plan A, and boy, oh boy, this is getting a very high rating. I'm going to give it a 9.3. I'm going to come straight out and say it's a 9.3. And it might be higher than that because I just listened to it without the singles. But I want to listen to it in full with the singles because the transitions he put into this were mwah, mwah, delicious. Oh, so good. So good. My favorites of course, the non-singles were 24 Hours and 120 off of my, I think, 2 listens I've done? 2 listens, 2 spins. So, yeah, it's a very good album, bro. It's a very good, it was my favorite of the 2 albums that dropped, by the way. We're going to talk about the next one that was very highly anticipated. But, Taka needs some more respect. All right, put some respect. He's got it. He's got it. I don't know. He's figured out his sound. He's got it. All right, 9.3 for Taka. Plan A, the highest cosign I can give. Mixtape Pluto dropped. All right, Future returned for the 3rd time this year. However, he wasn't dissing Drake on this one, so better. And this one was also very, very good. I'm gonna give it an 8.9. I'm gonna give it an 8 point. It's right on that edge between like I'm putting this in like the S tier, and also I want to see how this ages. And it's just it's a very good album. All right, he went 3 for 3 this year. Nothing taken away from that. Teflon Don, Brazier, and Ace Gang were my favorites off of this. We had that dirty Future that I love. So yeah, it felt like Mixtape Pluto. And he did his thing, but I want to see how it ages before I, elevate it to the 9. So maybe retroactively it goes into that album of the year category. But Mixtape Pluto is still very good. I'm giving it an 8.9. But yeah, what you classically love from Future, he delivered in this. So shout out to Pluto. Came through. All right. Keshi dropped one more song off of Requiem. Kiss Me Right. It was Heat. Heat. I said it was a big week for music. Let's keep it going. Because Bad Bunny dropped a single. Una Velita. And guess what? It was Heat. It was Heat. Everything hit this week, all right? So everybody give a round of applause to everybody dropped music. Karri, he dropped Oakland Pt.2. Guess what? It was Heat. All right, my playlist is hot right now. All right, it's hot right now, okay? Very good week in music. Very good week in entertainment overall between the Penguin, Industry Tonight, and the week in music. One of the best weeks in entertainment I think we've had in a minute. So yeah, I'm very, very, very satisfied. Now, of course, let's go to the NFL. Starting on Thursday, of course. The Jets and the Patriots. Last week I talked about how the Dolphins can't be the Bills and how it used to be the Patriots and the Jets. This ain't that Jets team no more. And that certainly isn't that Pats team no more. The Jets take care of them 24-3. Aaron Rodgers has his best game as a Jet, which is not really saying something. Now that I think about it, because he's only played 3. But hey, all right, 281 and 2 touchdowns for A-Rod, 27 for 35. I'm not going to lie to you. Braylon Allen is going to take this man's job, all right? Braylon Allen is going to take Breece Hall's job at some point in time. And honestly, if Breece Hall wasn't Breece Hall, Braylon would have that job already. I still do not know how he fell to the 4th round. I don't understand it. He's 6'2", 235, and like 16 years old. With smooth feet, he's built like a linebacker. Like, you can work with that. He wasn't like, obviously, legendary Wisconsin dominant, but he was still a dog at Wisconsin. The Cowboys, I don't know how we could have had this, and it makes me sick. Also, the Jets had 7 sacks. Jacoby didn't even go over 100 yards. I think he got hurt up in this game, but Jets take care of business, so shout out to him. A-Rod plays a good game. Steelers and the Chargers. Steelers get the win 20-10 to go through this very quickly. Justin Fields played a very solid game. He had 245 and a touchdown. He also had a pick. Let me see how many rushing yards he had. He actually only had 6. But he did have 2 touchdowns because he had one on the ground. So yeah, better. Not going to highlight too much of this. Did TJ Watt go crazy? He had a sack. All right. Steelers beat the Chargers. All right, not really a big surprise. The Chargers are still not a very good football team. Even though they got Harbaugh, they lost like every weapon they have. However, credit to the Steelers, but Mike Tomlin is Mike Tomlin. All right, Vikings. We're going to be talking a lot about former college star quarterbacks reverting back to what they were in college at some point. USC Sam Darnold is back. He's back. This is USC Sam Darnold. I don't know what is in the water in Minneapolis, Minnesota, but I need some. I don't know what y'all are feeding that boy Sam to get his aura back, to get his swagger back, to get his talent back. And even you watching this, we need it. We need it. They need to share whatever the secret sauce is because he's got it right now. 17 for 28, 181, which is not crazy, but not 1, not 2, not 3, but 4 touchdowns on your head top. And the Vikings get the win over the Houston Texans, who were one of the big story teams last year with the rise of CJ Stroud. They beat them 34-7. 34-7. All right, Stroud did not play a great game. He honestly needed the little bro talk that he gave Caleb this week, or last week. He needed this week from Sam. All right, he had 2 picks. He looked like a young quarterback in this game. Of course, no Damian Pierce. So Cam Akers had to fill in, and he had 21 rush yards. You can kind of tell how that's going to go for a game if you only got 20. Your leading rusher has 21 yards. It's not going to be great. All right, it's not like a reverse Michigan thing going on. It's not going to happen. So, yeah, that was grim. Aaron Jones, on the other hand, had 102. Everything that could go right for the Vikings is going right now. Jettas, 681 in touchdown. 4 different players caught a touchdown from Sam. Jonathan Grenard had 3 sacks. Like I said, picked Stroud off twice. The defense looking good. Everything is cooking right now. Everything is cooking right now for the Vikings. We'll see how long they can keep it going. But ladies and gentlemen, they're 3-0. They're 3-0, and they just beat the Texans 34-7. USC Sam Darnold is back, man. Fight on. Fight on. The Saints had all of the momentum in the world, and it died. It died a very slow, miserable death today. As the Philadelphia Eagles, the Philadelphia Saquon Barkleys get the win, 15-12. Because that's what this was. Because Jalen Hurts has officially reverted back to Alabama Jalen Hurts, which is not a good thing. Not a good thing at all. Because while he had flashes, akin to a Jalen Milroe, even though I would still say Milroe right now is better than Hurts was ever at Bama. He still was not a very good quarterback, which of course resulted in the Tua origin story, famously. But he's reverted back. All right, no player in football has more turnovers since the start of last season than Jalen Hurts. Not even Josh Allen. All right, not Trevor Lawrence. Jalen Hurts, 26. All right, he fumbled. Yeah, he fumbled twice. He's only getting credited for 1, so I guess he got away with them there. He also got a pick in this game, a very ugly pick, by the way. However, Saquon Barkley, like I said, put the team on his back, 147 and 2 touchdowns. All right, carried them. I do give a shout out to Dallas Goedert. He had 10 receptions, 170. I hope Devontae Smith is okay after it looked like he got fencing response. So, wishing the best for him. I don't know why that wasn't, flagged. Derek Carr came back down to earth after he'd been on the stratosphere the past couple weeks. Blankenship got that game-winning, pick. Kamara was Kamara, but it wasn't enough. The Saints were getting stifled. That defense, Jalen Carter, all right? He was not collecting DUIs this week. He was playing very good defense that we know Jalen Carter to do. So, yeah, that defense showed up big time for the Eagles, shut down the Saints, and then Saquon Barkley did the rest. So, yeah, congratulations to the Philadelphia Saquons. They moved to 2-1. Yep, 2-1. Saints take their first loss of the season. Broncos and the Bucks. Yep. A lot of teams coming back down to earth. Yeah, the Bucks were also one of those teams that was just flying in the stratosphere. Baker Mayfield was swaggering and sweltering, and then Bo Nix had a very efficient day after all of the slander. Didn't throw for a touchdown, but like I said, a very efficient day. Did just enough, for Will Lutz to kick a bunch of field goals and get the win. Baker did not play great. He had under 200 yards in that pick. And yeah, Broncos get the win. All right, Broncos get the win. Shout out to PS2 and that defense for getting it done. Packers and the Titans. No Jordan Love, no problem. Now, of course, they play the Titans, who, honestly, let's just be real at this point. are going to be in the quarterback sweepstakes. All right, because Will Levis threw for another 2 picks. I don't think any one of them were memeable. All right, the past 2 weeks had two very memeable, whether it was him down bad on his knees, which is going to be live on forever, or the dive last week. Nothing crazy this week, just good old fashioned interceptions from Will Levis. So yeah, Titans are down bad. The Packers are doing very, very well. Malik Willis played the best game of his career. 275 total, 2 touchdowns. You'll take that any day of the week. Everybody else for the Packers, go and do this really quickly. They had 8 sacks. Yeah, 8 sacks. Preston Smith had 2. Kingsley Garbe had 1.5. So yeah, good job. Jair Alexander had a pick 6 off Levis. But yeah, Packers take care of business on the road. Titans are not a very good team. Not quite, Panthers bad. Who we're going to check on later and see how they're doing, which is really, really much better actually. But Titans are not looking good. Not at all. Also, joining them in purgatory might be the Cleveland Browns. All right, I'm going to be honest. It might be the Cleveland Browns. As the New York Malik Neighbors beat the Cleveland Browns 21-15 today. All right, Malik Neighbors had 8 receptions, 78 yards, and 2 touchdowns. And boy, oh boy, did he show off the body control in one of those touchdowns. But yeah, Neighbors looking every bit the top 10 receiver he was hyped to be. Looks every bit. All right, every bit that guy. Helped out DJ a lot. All right, DJ actually had a competent game that wasn't egregious and made you want to throw something out of a window. So that is a win. And it literally was a win, of course, for the Giants as they won 21-15. Deshaun Watson is still sitting permanently in fraud watch, in wash watch, put the fries in the bag watch. Amari Cooper, however, didn't look as washed. 7 receptions, 86 yards, and 2 touchdowns. But of course, Myles Garrett getting hurt is going to be a very big blow. Him being banged up, and of course the foot issues. So yeah, it could be a classic Browns season. Honestly, it could be a classic Browns or just god awful season. We could be cooking up one of those. We will see. But the Giants escape purgatory momentarily. The Bears, it's still scary hours. All right, it is still scary hours. Caleb did throw for 363 in this game though, but still got sacked way too often, which not completely his fault, but definitely some of his fault. One of that pick he threw in this game, by the way, I don't know if it was a pick. Yeah, it wasn't a pick 6, but one of those interceptions he threw was awful. And y'all know I love Caleb. That's my dog, fight on. But one of those picks was awful. God awful. Seems like he's still having a little bit of an adjustment period, a little bit more than I expected in terms of an adjustment period, which is fine. The Bears, I think we hyped them a lot with the name value and what they brought to that offense, and this is the best situation. And I think we forgot that you still need to have a functioning offensive line, and they don't really have that right now. As Caleb is still kind of running for his life, similar to what he did at USC. He got sacked 4 times, which honestly feels like an improvement this week. But like I said, he played a better game, but still made a lot of rookie mistakes and didn't convert when, it was necessary to help them win this game. Rome had a very good game, though. Had a little bit of a breakout, honestly. 6 receptions, 112, and a touchdown. Cole Kmet caught 10 balls. But it was the Colts. It was the Colts. AR was just, God, terrible, okay? 167 and 2 interceptions, all right? He was not very, very good at all. But Jonathan Taylor is Jonathan Taylor. So 110 and, 2 touchdowns will make everything feel better. Alec Pierce caught exactly 1 ball once again for like 50 yards. So he remains a premier deep threat. But the Colts get it done. They take out the Bears. The Bears, I have no idea what to think of y'all, honestly. And the Colts, honestly, same thing. Ladies and gentlemen, I come to you today. After, the 4 o'clock games have come and gone. And I come to you today. And I regretfully have to inform the people of the Carolina Panthers that Bryce Young may have been the problem. Because, ladies and gentlemen, 0-17 is off the table. Yes, ladies and gentlemen, the Carolina Panthers, round of applause, have won a football game. Now, they beat the Las Vegas Raiders. I mean, it's the Raiders. It's the Raiders. But they still won a football game. On the road, won a football game. I mean, it's amazing. Andy Dalton looked like Cincinnati Andy Dalton. All right, 319 and 3 touchdowns for him. Chuba Hubbard looked like OK State Chuba Hubbard at times. He had 114. Deontay Johnson had 8 receptions, 122 and a touchdown. Chuba also had 5 receptions, 55 yards and a touchdown through the air. But yes, Thielen got in the box before he got hurt. I mean, Michael Jackson. Yes, Michael Jackson got an interception in this game. I mean, this is the best one of the season. I mean, it's probably going to be the best and potentially the only win of the season for the Panthers. So, they really got to celebrate this one. But my goodness, the Panthers have won a football game. Y'all saw me. I didn't think this was possible. But like I said, unfortunately, Bryce may have been the problem. I hate to say it, but Bryce may have been the problem. Y'all know I don't like to be harsh on these rookie or these young quarterbacks, but with Dalton at quarterback, it was just a completely different. Not just a completely different offense, but a completely different team. So I don't know, man. I don't know. It's a very awkward, it's a very weird situation for the Panthers to be in. With your supposed franchise quarterback not being the guy. Dalton comes in and all of a sudden you go in, and again it was the Raiders, but still win. It was a really good win, so really a team win as well. So we'll see. But Dalton seems to have fixed the Panthers momentarily. We'll see what happens next week. The Dolphins are about to be in free fall. Skylar Thompson is their backup quarterback. That really should tell you all you need to know about this game. Geno Smith didn't even play a good game. He had 2 picks. Charbonnet had 2 touchdowns. And DK continues to stay hot. But yeah, Seahawks take care of the Dolphins, who are going to be non-existent while Tua takes his annual couple weeks break because he got concussed again. The Cardinals. Yes, the Cardinals. Would they go 2-1? No, it wasn't to be. The Lions got their get back from last week. They win 20-13. No upsets today. All right. And it was the defense. All right. The defense closed out really, really well. We've talked about how well Kyler Murray has played this year, especially was it last week when he went off, got to go with Marv. So, Kyler's been off to a good start. Probably his worst game, though. Lions defense, we've talked about many, many times in their rise and climb to really the top of the NFC. That's been the focal point. That was the core, and they showed up big time. All right, they showed up big time. Marv did get a touchdown, but like I said, the Lions, they just closed out really, really well, shut down any opportunity Arizona had of getting back into this game. Of course, I have to talk about the hook and ladder with ARSB and Jahmyr Gibbs. That was beautiful. That pretty much put the game. I mean, that was a dagger, to be honest. That was the dagger. But, yeah. Trying not to read too much into this game, though. Still trying not to read because it's so early. It's only week 3. So trying not to read too much, but it seems like the Lions are back to business. Cardinals, I'm not saying they're in free fall like the Dolphins, but it feels like they're trying to level out where they are. I don't think they're going to be completely near I think they'll take maybe a small jump from where they were last year, which obviously was in the cellar. So I think they might climb out the cellar a little bit because they still play the Lions tough. But Lions are one of those teams that, we were expected to be one of the best. So they're looking like they're back on track. San Francisco. I'm not saying it's panic mode, but all of the injuries between these two teams, honestly. Kupp injured. Puka injured. CMC injured. All right? Just a host. Kittle, I think, was hurt. I mean, just a host of injuries for both of these teams that are just mangled. All right? Just mangled. And the Rams, for all intents and purposes, had this game lost. But from the jaws of defeat, they snatched victory with an insane fourth quarter comeback in the last 6 minutes. And simply put, the 49ers choked. They choked. Matthew Stafford did again. He's one of the best ever at the fourth quarter comeback. And he did it again. Again, his stat line, nothing flashy. But when it mattered, he had the big plays. Him, Tutu Atwell, that punt return on that last drive to set up the field goal. Just everything went right, of course. Jake Moody, 55 yards out. Barely misses. Of course, he makes that. It's 27-24. And we're going to overtime instead of, them losing this game. So you can point there. I don't really want to point it at Jake. He's been such a good kicker for, 49ers. He's also my fantasy team. But yeah, man. Purdy didn't play a bad game. 22 for 30, 292, 3 touchdowns. But things just did not go the way. By the way, if you had Jawan Jennings and got him off the waiver wire, you had a great week. 11 receptions, 175, and 3 touchdowns. But that's about where the apex hit for the 49ers between those two players. Because Kyron Williams closed really well. He had 2 touchdowns. Tutu stepped up, was the receiver that, we've seen him step up, before and be and kind of fill in those roles that are needed by Puka and by Coop. So, he filled that for Stafford. He had 4 receptions, 93 yards. That big 50-yarder, of course, like I told you, changed the game big time. So, Rams, I mean, pull it off. At home, 49ers now fall to 1-2, which is very interesting. It seems like the injury bugs are going to set that team back. We'll see what happens. But yes, I actually recorded the segment, so if you saw the photography edit, I almost forgot this, and y'all would never forgive me. Yeah, the Baltimore Ravens and the Dallas Cowboys played today, and I just have a couple questions. I just have a couple questions. Not about my owner in that Jamie Foxx video. God, no, I don't want to talk about that. Definitely don't want to talk about that. I just want to know, where did our defense go? Like, not even like we don't even got like the turnovers. Like when we had Diggs and Bland just picking something off and Mike is just wrecking shop type defense. Not even like that defense. Like we just don't have a defense. Like I feel like I'm watching USC again. And not even this year's USC, because they have a defense. A better defense than the Dallas Cowboys, apparently. All right? Because we spotted the Ravens before we actually decided to play football. We spotted them to 3 quarters, 28-6. And then all of a sudden in the 4th quarter, we were like, oh, wait. Let's try to win this game. And we ran out of time. I'm trying not to crash out. I'm really trying not to crash out. The Ravens are a good team, but it's not a game we should be losing. It's not. They lost to the Raiders last week. Respectfully. And I don't expect this team to be, and I've said it before, I don't think this team is as good as the past 2 years. I think it has a lot more faults. But I didn't expect us to be this bad. The only team we beat is mediocre. The 2 actual teams we played, to quote Reggie Miller, not there. Just not there. Brandon Aubrey is the only positive. The only positive on this team is Butter Aubrey. He had a 65-yarder today. He's like a Ferrari in a motorhome. It's crazy. We got the best kicker on the planet. But that's about it. Dak wasn't bad, but largely ineffective. He went 28 for 55. That pretty much tells you how that went. Our defense, I don't even want to talk about y'all or highlight anybody. Lamar didn't even play a crazy game. Derrick Henry went 151 and 2 touchdowns, though. Lamar did have almost 100 yards, I guess, rushing, so I should give Lamar some credit. 2 TDs, 200, 300 combined? Or no, 200. Yeah, 200 something combined. 260, 270, I think. Rashard Bateman scored. And Kyle Van Noy got 2 sacks. Great day on the ground, because the Cowboys just I got nothing, bro. I got nothing. There's no positives. There's nothing good that happened in football for me this week between USC losing to Michigan, which I didn't really feel like crashing out about because it really wasn't that bad. But this nothing else. That, ladies and gentlemen, was the NFL for the week. Of course, we've got the Chiefs and the Falcons tonight. Don't have big hopes for the Falcons, but it is prime time, so maybe. But, Mahomes is Mahomes. And then Monday, we got 2 games, actually. We got the Jaguars and the Bills, and we got the Commanders and the Bengals. The Bengals need revenge. T. Higgins is back. And the Jaguars need to win a game. 0-3 is not a good look, especially for the talent on that team. And yeah, just won't be a good look. But they are playing the Bills, who have been very, very good this season. So we'll see. But that, ladies and gentlemen, was week 3 in the NFL. And with that said, ladies and gentlemen, we have reached the Roundup. Yes, we have reached the Roundup. And of course, we are talking about Singapore. The Grand Prix, and it was dominated by one man. And it looked like it might have been a Ferrari week. But then, Carlos bent his car and messed up Q3. So everything, Charles couldn't get the lap he wanted. Then he expired limits. So Ferrari was disposed of. All right, they were disposed of and cooked. And McLaren once again said, you know what? We run this now. All right, and this was a dominant performance. Lando nearly got his first triple crown, Grand Slam, I forget what we call it. But Danny Rick in his last race, I believe in F1, allegedly, reportedly, I'm wondering who RB's going to go to. Is it going to be Liam? I didn't see that report. I just found out today that it was Daniel's farewell, and he was crying and all that stuff. So I don't know who RB's going to after this break, this little kind of fall break, but we will see. All right, we will see. I will be highly anticipating. I hope it's Liam. but I don't know. However, Danny did take away that fastest lap, so we will see. All right, we will see what happens there. But Lando did dominate nonetheless. Pole, led every lap, won. I mean, just dominate. He even got the start right. He even beat Max off the start. That's when I was like, yeah, Lando on timing this week. So yeah, podium goes Lando, Max, Oscar. And we actually had a really good cooldown room where Oscar was kind of interviewing everybody. So yeah, that was really cool. But yeah, Lando cuts a little bit into Max's lead, not too much. But yeah, Max is still looking like he's going to win that World Drivers' Championship. But McLaren has definitely made a statement. All right, they've made a statement that they are the team to beat in F1 right now and for the foreseeable future. Boxing. It was a bad week to be Anthony Joshua. I'll tell you that. All right, it was a bad week. He took on Daniel Dubois, and Daniel Dubois said the future is now, old man. He said the future is now for 5 rounds. I mean, literally, 10 seconds into the fight, AJ got rocked, and he never recovered. And he ended up getting put to sleep. All right, Dubois put him to sleep, knocked him out in 5, which is not what I was expecting. But honestly, it's AJ. He gets knocked out. You know, he has these great performances, but then, you know, if he comes up against the right guy with the right amount of speed and they can clip him, then you can put him down. And Dubois did that, showed why he was so highly regarded once upon a time. Took a late loss, then lost to Usyk. But Usyk said, hey, your time might be coming. By the way, he arguably, depending on who you ask, might have should have beat Usyk, might have knocked out Usyk, or TKO'd him. But yeah, you know, DD makes a statement, all right? Makes him the number one, I think, got to be the number one contender, right? After that Fury rematch for the heavyweight title. So yeah, congrats to Dubois, knocks out AJ, and we have a new king in British heavyweight boxing. The WNBA. Actually, no, before we talk about the W, because I actually have to pull something out for that. Let's talk about Shohei Ohtani. All right, that's what I want to talk about. Shohei Ohtani. How many times have I said it? I'm going to say it one more time. He's not generational. Generational is not a big enough term to describe what Shohei Ohtani is. He is once in a lifetime. We don't have a lifetime, no, that's not a word. But if it was, it would describe Shohei Ohtani. That's what he would be. All right? He is one of one. Once in a lifetime talent. Beyond generational. 50-50. And what a way did he do it? In the greatest game one man has possibly ever played. 6 for 6. Was it 4 or was it 3 home runs? I think it was 3. 3 home runs, 10 RBIs. Ridiculous. Alright? Ridiculous performance from Ohtani. Alright? Against the Marlins to set the record and get that 50-50 is just it's insane. Alright? Absolutely insane. Best player in the world. Even me, Yankee fan, love AJ, who homered today or yesterday. Might have homered today as well. But, you know, as much as I love the boy, Ohtani's the best player in the world. All right? He's the best player in the world, and he might be the best ever. All right? I don't know if he's going to be the greatest ever, but I truly believe Shohei Ohtani might be the best player to ever play the game of baseball. What he's as good as he is pitching and what he can do. I mean, this is a rehab season. This is a rehab season. His rehab season is 50-50. Setting a bunch of records. Winning another MVP. Like we've never seen anything like this. Ever. Ever. Almost really, just beyond baseball. Like he's so different. It's incredible. He's one of those athletes you're like, man, I'm glad I was born in the generation where I got to see this. Like we're witnessing something that they're going to talk about. So, shout out to Shohei. All right, once in a lifetime, 50-50. What a way to do it. And one of the greatest games ever played. WNBA. All right, the playoffs are here. Awards came out for the AP, not the official WNBA awards, but they were both unanimous, which is what they should be. All right. Asia won MVP, no surprise. Kayla won Rookie of the Year, no surprise. Both of those unanimous, they should be. We've got nothing but beatdown so far in the game ones. Of course, playoffs kicked off today. The Liberty beat up on the Dream. Shout out to Leone Fibic, who made all-rookie first team today. And then the Sun beat up on the Fever. All right, Marina had 27. Caitlin was in prison after getting her eye poked out by Dijonay. But she did have like 8 assists. But yeah, she went 4 for 17. I don't think that's going to happen again. Shout out to Dubois Bonner as well for strapping her up. But yeah, that was a nice kind of welcome to the playoffs for the rookie, which is funny that the Connecticut Sun seem to always be the team that are like giving Caitlin her welcome to the W event. However, she did break pretty much every single record imaginable. Same thing with Asia. So again, those were very, very deserved. And the Lynx right now are beating the piss out of the Mercury. All right, they are trying to retire DT with a quickness. Okay, 50-27. Good God. Shout out to Fee, one defensive player of the year today as well. But looking at the bracket, I will quickly go through and make some quick predictions here. All right, some very quick predictions about what I'm feeling. What I'm feeling, of course. I think the Liberty are going to take care of the dream. No surprise there. Aces in the Storm. Very interesting because of how up and down the Aces are, but I cannot bet against the defending 2-time champs. So yeah, I got the Aces. I think the Sun are going to take care of the Fever. The Fever just not ready yet. It's playoff basketball. It's different. All right, even if Caitlin goes on a rampage tomorrow or in 2 days or whenever they play again for game 2, even if she does, I just think the Sun are a better team right now, which is not like an affliction on the Fever. And it's going to be weird to not see Caitlin, by the way, make a championship or like go on a long run. But yeah, the Sun are just a better team. They're just a better team right now. But the Fever, of course, building. All right, they weren't even supposed to be here. The Lynx and the Mercury, the Lynx are going to take care of the Mercury. All right, so I think all of the top seeds are going to handle business. But that's where it gets interesting. All right, the Lynx versus the Sun. Liberty Aces, not in the finals this year. Okay, it's going to be crazy. All right, it's going to be real sticky. But yeah, should be a lot of fun. W playoffs, we'll be talking about that more here on the A15 Exchange. But without further ado, I hope you guys enjoyed episode 216 in the books. But without further ado, as I always say, Ocho, signing off.